Nintendo has Mario, Xbox has Master Chief, Sega has Sonic, and PlayStation has... Wait, who's the mascot of PlayStation? Crash Bandicoot? Sackboy? Polygon Man? PlayStation has gone through way too many mascots over the years. For whatever reason, they just can't seem to hold down a relationship with a mascot for a long period of time. Pretty much any time a major series kicks off, the main character is a PlayStation mascot for a while and then Sony moves on. Even though they can't stick to a specific mascot for more than about 3 days, there have been plenty of great mascots in PlayStation history. It all started with the aforementioned Polygon Man. PM, as I'll call him moving forward, is one of the creepiest and weirdest mascots I've ever seen, so I'm not surprised that things didn't work out for the floating head. PM appeared on some pre-launch advertisements for the original PlayStation, but ended up getting dropped for some other, less horrific characters that I'll get into a bit later. PM existed to show gamers what the graphics on the PS1 would look like, but even the designers were upset about it. They didn't like the way PM was shaded and weren't thrilled about making his levitating head the mascot of their brand. Well, at least they got something out of PM, because he was the final boss of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, a game just chock full of PlayStation mascots. I totally didn't use its roster as the basis of this video, come on guys. One of those less horrific characters who ended up replacing PM as the PlayStation mascot in the early days was none other than Crash Bandicoot. Everyone loves the Bandicoot known as Crash. He wasn't endemic to Australia and New Guinea like an actual Bandicoot, he was in our homes for all of us to enjoy. Our boy Crash actually served as a PS mascot for 4 years, from 1996 to 2000. That's a really long time by PlayStation standards. After 2000, Universal Interactive Studios became the series publisher and entered an agreement with Konami to publish a Crash Bandicoot game for consoles not created by Sony. Since Crash was no longer a PlayStation exclusive, he was no longer a PS mascot. Some would say he crashed and burned as a PlayStation mascot. Get it? Because his name is Crash? Yeah, I'm sure you got it. PaRappa the Rapper is one of those characters who you forgot existed unless you were one of the OG PlayStation gamers, but he was arguably the best mascot PlayStation ever had. Firstly, he was a dog, and who doesn't like dogs? Secondly, he was a rapper, which is also pretty dope. Thirdly, his catchphrase was "I gotta believe," showing how inspirational he is as a character. Lastly, PaRappa games were actually super fun. He had literally everything you wanted in a mascot. If anything, PaRappa was actually overqualified for the job. An interesting thing about PaRappa the Rapper is that his first game came out on the exact same day as Crash Bandicoot's first game in Japan, making them brothers of sorts, even though they're completely different animals. It's a shame we only got 2 PaRappa the Rapper games because I think they have so much potential, even now. Another one of those old characters everyone knows is Spyro the Dragon, the main character of Sony's Super Mario 64-esque title. I have nothing bad to say about Spyro. I think his designer and creator, Charles Zembillis of Insomniac Games, had a great vision for the dragon. He was a very energetic and lovable character that a lot of younger gamers were able to relate to at the time. I mentioned earlier that Crash Bandicoot and PaRappa the Rapper were brothers because their games both came out at the same time. But it's clear that Crash and Spyro have a better relationship because we've seen them appear in several games together. Personally, even though he was only technically a mascot for 2 years, Spyro was probably my favorite original PlayStation mascot, just because I love dragons, and I think his color scheme is neat. Now we're getting close to the PS2 era, which had way too many mascots for my liking, starting with Jak Daxter. Jak and Daxter were very popular early in the PS2 era, even though they're sort of a forgotten duo nowadays since there hasn't been a new game in the franchise in nearly 12 years. Jak is a pretty cool protagonist, but Daxter on the other hand is both funny and kind of annoying. He's Jak's friend, who was accidentally turned into an ottsel, which is an animal that's half otter, half weasel. He's cute, but he can get on your nerves. The unlikely pairing won the hearts of gamers around the world, and while they never became as popular as Crash Bandicoot, they were still one of the best mascots PlayStation ever had. It's a shame we haven't had a new Jak and Daxter game in so long. Sly Cooper is another classic PS2 era mascot. His games were neat because they were different from your traditional games at the time. They were all about pulling off heists, and man were they fun. The titular character is an anthropomorphic raccoon who is a descendant from a long line of master thieves. In fact, Sly considers himself a gentleman thief, since he has everything you need in life, but just steals things for the thrill. While I love Sly Cooper, I can understand why Sony didn't want to keep a thief as one of their PlayStation mascots. It just sends the wrong message if you think about it. You want your mascot to be a super fun, loving character with good morals. So Sly didn't last too long. We haven't had a new Sly Cooper title in over 8 years, so he's just another PlayStation mascot lost to time. Arguably, the most iconic PlayStation duo is Ratchet and Clank, because they actually stood the test of time. Their games have been released on 5 different consoles: PS2, PSP, PS3, PS4, and PS5. I'm extremely excited for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, as it's supposed to showcase just how incredible the PS5's SSD really is. We had Jak and Daxter, and then we had Ratchet and Clank, so clearly, Sony loved the idea of having dual protagonists on the PS2 days. Ratchet is an anthropomorphic character known as a Lombax, which doesn't actually exist in real life. And Clank is, well, a robot who escaped from Chairman Drek's robot plant on planet Cortu. The fact that this duo is still going strong today is a testament to how good their games are. They may be the best mascots PlayStation has right now. Kratos is very different from all the mascots we've talked about so far because he's a total badass. Seriously, you absolutely do not want to mess with this guy. If PlayStation is going with the intimidation factor as the main selling point for their mascot, then Kratos is the perfect choice. Kratos is nothing if not violent. He doesn't care what he has to do to get what he wants, he's going to do it. Kratos is as powerful and strong-willed as it gets, making him a solid choice for a mascot. He's not very kid-friendly, if you know what I mean. God of War on PS4 was undoubtedly one of the best games I've ever played, and Kratos has been the protagonist of the series since the PlayStation 2 days. He's one of my favorite PlayStation characters, and for good reason. You gotta love the Ghost of Sparta. Sackboy is probably the mascot most gamers think of when they hear the word PlayStation. Isn't PlayStation technically 2 words? It's written as 1 word, so I'll count it as 1 word. Anyway, while I love mascots like Kratos, I also love mascots who are on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Sackboy is not even remotely intimidating. For starters, his name is Sackboy, and on top of that, he's a cute doll made of burlap. Sackboy is as kid-friendly as it gets, and so are the Little Big Planet games, and his spin-off game, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. That being said, I absolutely love the LBP franchise because of all the different levels the community has created. There's so much to do in this game, just like with PlayStation in general, which is why Sackboy is arguably PlayStation's best modern mascot. Nathan Drake is just a cool dude, plain and simple. He looks like an everyman with his jeans and his long-sleeve Henley top, yet he's anything but an everyman. Sure, he has a great sense of humor and loves to crack jokes every once in a while, but the dude is an athletic freak who, by the way, is also a treasure hunter. He's discovered El Dorado, Libertalia, and more ruins than anyone would know what to do with. That said, Nathan Drake also isn't perfect by any means. He's strong-willed and does whatever he wants, regardless of how it will affect others, and we've seen this shape the events of Uncharted time and time again. What I like the most about Drake is he's a likable and believable character. In fact, I believe he's one of the best developed characters in gaming, making him a perfect mascot for PlayStation. Before you go, I just have to talk about an honorable mention, Astrobot. He has flown under the radar as one of PlayStation's mascots for a while now. Astrobot seems to be the mascot for the PS5, so maybe Sony actually sticks with him. Nah, who am I kidding? I know they won't.